What is good, guys? It's Rey-Jay back with another video, and in this one I'm going to break down what's going on with Tsla, SPY, the QQQ, and a couple of tickers out there. I'm going to talk about some of the things Jerome Powell just said and what you should be watching for, and some very important levels to watch for moving forward into today and tomorrow. Before I break anything down about all this information, let me just mention a couple of things real quick. Firstly, I'm not a financial planner. Take none of this as financial advice. And don't forget about the Moomoo link. The offer ends very soon. Deposit $100 and you're guaranteed 5 free stocks with a $100 cash reward. The offer ends in just 8 days, so check it out before they run out. With that out of the way, let's get on with the video. Anyways, let's talk about the market now. Let's talk about what's going on. So when it comes to Tsla, we have this potential bullish triangle-like structure, and Tesla's continuing to hold up quite nicely. However, there's both a bull and bear case on Tsla, in my opinion, and we're going to see what happens given the level of confirmation that we have to see for either direction. So when you zoom out on like the hourly and you have the extended hours on, you can see there's a possible clean head and shoulders developing on Tsla, and the bears are going to argue that if Tsla reaches like 265 or so around this range, it actually came very close just a few minutes ago. They're going to try shorting around here and looking for a potential entry because we once again formed a very, very nice symmetrical structure right here, and Tsla has a possible head and shoulders developing. The bears are going to argue that this is a good shorting opportunity. They're going to try to smack Tsla right back down. However, the bulls are going to argue something else. There's also a bullish argument that Tsla had a bullish triangle developing. Technicals are looking a little bit better. We have this bullish cross in the PPO on the 1 hour time frame. It held above the 200 EMA on the 1 hour time frame, and it's currently above the 50 EMA. However, here's the thing about Tsla. If Tsla continues to push, the bulls are going to argue that it has the potential to break above 265. And if it breaks that, there's this imbalance up here around this 275 area. So if Tsla continues to break above 265, it has the potential to go all the way up to 275. But first, like I said, it has to break and hold 265 for the bulls to get their confirmation. So right now, there's both a bull and bear case. Please watch those levels very carefully. And additionally, let me just briefly go over these. Tsla needs to also, it needs to continue to hold 265 to remain a lot more bullish. And if it breaks that, it's going to fly to 268, then 270 will have the next resistance zones. Not as significant. There's 272 and then 275. If it gets above 270, that's it. It's going to go all the way up to 275. That's where the imbalance is. It's extremely likely that that's going to happen if it gets above like just 270. That's going to be like even more confirmation. But for now, we're going to be watching if it could get above 265. Now, if Tsla fails, and let's just say the bears are correct and Tsla comes down, you're going to be watching support at 262.5, 260, 257.75, 255.7, 254.25, 252.25, all as some support zones. We've seen these hold up Tsla quite a bit over the last couple of days. We've seen some price action here in the pre-market. And then we have like the 250 and then 247 area as the major supports. So watch all of those very carefully. As of right now, it's looking stronger, so it's less likely Tsla is going to like break down. But for now, always be prepared, and let's see how Tsla reacts to this resistance. For SPY, we're going to be watching resistance around 436. If it manages to hold above 436, we're going to be watching 436.18, 436.64, going all the way up to 437. So we have a lot of resistance between 436 to 437 basically. Lots of resistance. Is going to be tricky for SPY to break. But if SPY does break it and gets above 437, it has the potential to push to 438, then potentially 440, then 442 as the next major resistance zones. If it comes down, if it breaks down, you're going to be watching support at 435. If that fails us, there's 434, then 433, which is where the 200 EMA happens to be. And that is very close to where the low of the day was. So far it's holding, so I don't really predict it's going to crash that hard. But even if it does, hypothetically, 432 will come next, and below that, it's going to come all the way down to 430. So we're going to be watching all these levels very, very carefully. Our 50 EMA is currently at 436.18 on the 1 hour time frame. Please watch this all carefully. For now, it's holding up. It's looking pretty strong, but we have about 2 hours left for the day, and things could change just like how they did yesterday. However, what is good about the markets, though, is, in my opinion, there is potential for the market to push up more tomorrow. We will see how the market closes and look at the options chain by then. But until then, things are looking pretty decent so far. Finally, if we want to look at a couple of tickers, I'm just going to briefly go over a couple of these. AMD is still looking a little bit weak. It actually hit 110. My target was 108. It's still getting very close to that. If it wants to push up, watch resistance at 112, 114 to 115, 118, and then 120. Support is going to be at 110, 108, and then 105. For now, 110 is trying to hold it up, but if it breaks below that, it's most likely going to come all the way down to 108, which is where it has its imbalances. For the QQQ, it is fighting the resistance very close to 365. There's a lot of resistance between 364.8 to about 365 almost, and like 366, the entire zone. We have resistance at each of those levels. And if it breaks 366, that's going to be the bigger bullish breakout move. If it breaks 366, it's going to fly to 368 most likely, and potentially 370. But if it comes down, and let's just say it rejects and fails to do so, watch support at 364.27. If that fails us, there's 363.5, then potentially 362.3, 361, and then followed by 360. Anything below 360 will turn very bearish on this thing, and so far it's holding above these levels. Today it bounced off 360.23 above to get above the 200 EMA on the 1 hour time frame. Overall, holding up nicely, still has some bullish signals. We will see what happens. Tesla is going to play a big role in this, so will like Nvidia and a couple of others, and Aapl. And so far, they're holding up quite nicely. Aapl broke above the resistance at 186 and it's holding up quite nicely. The zone I mentioned, that if it broke 186, you're going to be watching this like 186.5 area, and that is where it's currently fighting so far. So if Aapl breaks 186.5, it has the potential to go up to 187.5, and potentially even higher than that. But so far, the resistance is going to be very tight on this thing, so we will see what Aapl tries to do. If Aapl breaks down, you're going to be watching support around 186 flat. If that fails us, there's 185, 184.6, 183, and then 182.5, that entire zone. And if it gets below the 200, it's most likely going to come all the way back down to 180. For now, it's holding up, so we're watching it fight around 186.5, holding up quite nicely, and it's looking pretty decent. Nvidia as well, it's trying to hold above the 1 hour 50 EMA. If it tries to push up even higher, you're going to be watching resistance around this 433 to 435 zone. If it gets above 435, it's going to fly to 440. For now, it's getting stopped right under 435. And so far, it is losing some momentum. Volume is slowing down so far, so it's not looking too promising to break that high, but it's also not breaking down because it's trying to hold above the 50 EMA. If it breaks below the 50, if it breaks below 429, it's going to likely come down to retest this 425 area, then potentially 422, and then 420. I don't see it dropping that low like for the remainder of the day, but it's just worth noting where the supports are. Coinbase came down a little bit after Powell was speaking, but it actually came right back up. Now it's only down 1%, still holding up. It managed to fill this imbalance. And I was bullish on Coinbase for quite a while. We came to where I was hoping for, which is close to like the 60 level. Now it's just a matter of, could this thing get above 60? If it manages to do so, it has a lot more potential. If not, it's going to be some tough resistance. So we're just going to be watching that for now. It still has potential to push up, and technicals technically haven't fully flipped on the bigger time frames just yet. On the 4 hour especially, it's starting to turn a little, it got a small potential crossover, but it's not confirmed just yet, as it's still above the 50 EMA. If it breaks below the 50 EMA, that's going to be our confirmation that Coinbase is ready to reverse. But it did make a bullish move already, and it's still holding up all right, so it's not really confirmed to break down just yet. If it wants to turn bullish, like I said, it has to break and hold above 60. That's going to be very bullish. If not, we're going to be watching 55. If it breaks below 55 and holds below 55, which is where our 50 EMA is, and has potential to come all the way back down to 53, 52.5, 50, then all the way back to the 40s. So watch Coinbase very carefully. We're going to be watching these EMAs as well. Finally, what else is there? Amazon. Amazon was good today. Got a nice breakout. I told you guys before that we're going to be watching where Amazon goes because it had this potential bullish structure. And this ended up not playing out the way I thought. It just took a while for it to get back into this zone. But Amazon got a clean break to the upside. Amazon went to this resistance zone around this like 127 area. I told you if it broke this, it could go all the way up to 130. That was like the more bullish case. The bearish case would have been completely different, but so far it's still holding up. Now 130 is major resistance. If it breaks this, you're going to be watching 132.5, potentially 135 after that. But if Amazon breaks down, you're going to be watching this previous resistance as support. So around this like we have some support technically around like 128. Then we have 126.25 as the next support. If that fails us, there's 125, 123.85, and then 122. However, so far it's holding up. There's nothing really bearish about this chart and has the potential to continue to test for 130. It's just a matter of can this thing break 130 to turn more bullish or not. We're going to have to just wait and see. Meta is very flat right now. It's been trading sideways, still very, very tight. I am anticipating a bigger move to come in the future, but we just have to wait and see which way it goes. For now, it's still very, very sideways. I will talk more about this later on. And until then, guys, just get ready for the market. The market's still holding up. Tomorrow is going to be very interesting, so I will break that down in a later video. And until then, thank you for listening. Please watch these levels, and I will see you guys in the next video. The market to the moon, as the long term is still incredibly bright, and peace out.